prescription for allowing you, the voters, to know who is spending all that money in politics. It is supported by over 80% of the people in this country, Republicans, Democrats, and independents. It fell one vote short in the United States Senate. We got 59 votes. As you know, in the Senate, you don't need just 51, but to pass any controversial legislation these days, it shouldn't be controversial, but to pass major, you need 60 to stop a filibuster. We had 59. And since then, Mitch McConnell has made it his mission to defeat the Disclose Act. He and I have had it going back and forth on this for years. They even put in the Republican convention one year a provision that said they will, as a party, oppose the Disclose Act. They don't want disclosure. Mitch McConnell used to be in favor of disclosure. After Citizens United, when he realized he could get away with no disclosure, he switched his position. But in terms of legislative action to roll back the negative impacts of Citizens United, that Disclose Act is really important. So we're going to reintroduce it in the House and the Senate in this next session of Congress, and we hope you will work really hard together with us to make sure that the 80% of the public, and I think it's more, who support that across all different party lines, will see that really important change to at least bring more transparency and accountability to the system. To more dramatically change the system at its core is why we need to pass John Sarbanes legislation. And I just want to thank him for his really creative efforts and his leadership and persistence on putting forward this idea, which he's refined over time, has broad support among all of us who want to protect a system by the people, of the people and for the people. So I don't know if Heather's going to introduce him, but I do want to thank John Sarbanes for his leadership. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Congressman Van Hollen. And Congressman Sarbanes, you have the distinction of having a district that covers more of the map of Maryland than any other district, and many people here in this room are that you are their representative in Congress, and we've been thrilled with the national leadership that you've taken in this conversation, because sometimes it's about cultural shifts that have to take place. And more than anything else, that's what I'm witnessing as you step forward with your Government by the People Act. Please share with us some of the details and where you think the opportunities lie in the future Congress.
Well, I'd love to, and I want to thank everybody for coming out today. I want to thank Get Maryland for Get Money Out Maryland for their efforts over the last few years. It's making a difference. You're part of a national movement to fight back against the undue influence that big money is having on our politics and on our government as well. A lot of times people just focus on what happens on election day in terms of how money affects the result, but the most sinister effect is what happens after election day, when people go to govern and they owe the big money and the special interest favors, and that turns into bad public policy that doesn't meet the needs and priorities of the American people. So there couldn't be a more important effort. This is the gateway issue. This is the foundational issue. Everything else we need to achieve in this country, we will not achieve as long as big money has the influence that it has. I too want to salute Heather for her career of public service, but in particular deciding to step up and wave the flag of a public financing approach to her campaign. I mean, that example is something that we're able to point to. And she's right. Governor Hogan did it as well. Now we got to make sure that system is replenished so that other candidates in the future want to step into it. We want to try to get to a place in Maryland where every candidate running at the state level could access a